Hello, welcome back. We're about to explore 7 habits that completely reshaped my life in just 1 week. Yes, you heard me right, just 1 week. It may sound unbelievable, but I assure you these are not your typical tips you find everywhere. These are genuine, honest habits that I personally incorporated into my daily routine. I faced challenges, experienced breakthroughs, and the transformation I underwent was truly remarkable. I'm excited to share these insights with you, as they've had a significant impact on my life, and I believe they can do the same for you. Please subscribe to the channel so that you can always get this type of videos. Whether you're aiming to enhance your productivity, boost your mental well-being, or simply bring positive changes to your everyday life, these habits can help you achieve that. So grab a cup of your favorite drink, get cozy, and let's dive right in. You'll want to stay until the end, as these habits are not just theoretical but practical, actionable steps you can start using today. I'll also be sharing some personal anecdotes from my journey, giving you an authentic glimpse into how these habits benefited me. Let's jump right into habit number 1, waking up early. The first change that made a huge difference for me was getting up early. To be honest, I was never a morning person. My bed was my go-to, and I used to hit the snooze button countless times. Mornings were chaotic, and I often felt like I was starting the day on the wrong note. But I decided to try waking up early, and it was a game changer. I started by setting my alarm for 5 a.m. The initial days were tough. I remember pulling myself out of bed, feeling drowsy and questioning if it was worth it. But I persevered, and by the 3rd day, something amazing happened. I began to savor the calm and quiet of the early hours. There was something enchanting about being awake before the world, with everything still and peaceful. With those extra morning hours, I found time for activities I had previously overlooked. I began my days with some light exercise, nothing too intense, just a bit of stretching or a short jog around the neighborhood. This not only woke me up but also energized me for the rest of the day. I also spent some time meditating and setting my intentions, which significantly improved my mindset and productivity. Another unexpected benefit was that I no longer felt rushed. I had enough time to enjoy a nutritious breakfast, sip my coffee slowly, and plan my day. This slower start set a positive tone for everything that followed. I felt more organized, less stressed, and had a greater sense of control over my time. One memorable moment was the morning I watched the sunrise from my balcony. It was a simple yet profoundly beautiful experience. As the sky changed colors and the world gradually awoke, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude and tranquility. It was in that moment I truly grasped the power of waking up early. Now, waking up early might not be for everyone, but I encourage you to give it a shot, even if just for a week. Start by waking up 15 minutes earlier than usual and gradually increase it. You might be surprised at the positive impact it can have on your life. It's not merely about having more hours in the day, but using those hours to create a more mindful, intentional, and fulfilling start to your day. Habit 2, daily exercise. Next up is daily exercise, the second habit that transformed my life. I'll be honest, I wasn't always the most active person. I often found excuses to skip workouts: I'm too tired, I don't have time, or I'll start tomorrow. Sound familiar? But one day, I decided I'd had enough. I committed to moving my body every day for a week, and the results were astounding. I started small, committing to just 20 minutes of movement a day, mixing things up with yoga, jogging, and strength training. I wanted to keep it interesting so I wouldn't lose motivation. The first few days were challenging, my muscles were sore, and I felt exhausted. But I reminded myself that I was doing this to feel better physically and mentally. By the 4th day, something remarkable happened. I woke up feeling energized, my mood had drastically improved, and I was less irritable and more positive. I realized that those 20 minutes weren't just about burning calories, they were about giving myself time to focus, relieve stress, and boost my endorphins. I remember one morning when I laced up my sneakers for a jog on a crisp day. As I ran, I felt a sense of freedom and clarity I hadn't felt in a long time. It was just me, the open road, and my thoughts, an empowering connection to myself and the world around me. I also began noticing physical changes, my posture improved, I felt stronger, and my overall fitness level increased. But the biggest shift was in my mindset. Exercise became my time to disconnect and reconnect with myself, evolving into a form of self-care rather than a chore. Trying yoga for the first time was another highlight. Initially, I hesitated, thinking I wasn't flexible enough or that it wouldn't count as a real workout. But after a few sessions, I fell in love with it. Yoga taught me to be present, breathe deeply, and listen to my body. It was a transformative experience that extended beyond physical benefits. Incorporating daily exercise into my routine taught me that taking care of my body directly influenced my mental health and overall happiness. It's not about being perfect, it's about finding a movement you enjoy and making it a regular part of your life. If you're struggling to start, my advice is to begin small, find something you love, whether it's dancing, hiking, or a brisk walk. Commit to just a few minutes each day and gradually increase it. Trust me, the benefits will be worth the effort. Habit 3, Journaling. Now let's dive into journaling, the third habit on my list. Initially, I viewed journaling as something reserved for those with endless free time or a naturally introspective disposition. I was skeptical, who really has the time to sit down and write about their day when life feels so hectic? However, committing to a week of consistent journaling completely shifted my perspective and became a cornerstone of my personal growth journey. I started with a simple approach, dedicating just 10 minutes each night before bed to jot down my thoughts in a plain notebook. No need for fancy apps or the pressure to make it visually appealing, just me and my reflections. On that first night, I sat staring at the blank page, uncertain of where to begin. I took a deep breath and started with something straightforward. I described how my day went, what brought me joy, and what challenges I encountered. As the days unfolded, I found myself delving deeper into my thoughts and feelings. I began exploring my goals, fears, dreams, and insecurities. This process felt like having a heartfelt conversation with myself, and that's when the magic truly began. I started to notice patterns in my thinking and behaviors. Some worries emerged as completely out of my control, while others illuminated areas where I could take actionable steps. This realization brought a sense of empowerment that I hadn't anticipated. One night, I documented a particularly stressful day at work. By articulating my thoughts on paper, I found it easier to process my emotions. I detailed the specific factors that contributed to my stress, how they made me feel, and what I could do differently moving forward. This simple act of reflection provided clarity and restored a sense of control over my feelings, allowing me to strategize for the future rather than feeling overwhelmed. Journaling also became a valuable tool for tracking my progress. I made it a habit to note down small victories and milestones, no matter how minor they seemed. Looking back at these entries filled me with a sense of accomplishment and motivated me to keep pushing forward. For instance, I documented the preparation for a presentation that had me anxious. Seeing my efforts and the positive outcome in my journal was incredibly uplifting, reinforcing my belief in my capabilities. To further enhance my journaling experience, I introduced a gratitude section, where I wrote down 3 things I was thankful for each day. This simple practice shifted my focus from what I lacked to appreciating the abundance already present in my life, a profound change that infused my daily routine with positivity. One memorable entry recounted a random act of kindness I experienced when a stranger helped me carry my grocery bags. Writing about that moment filled me with gratitude and inspired me to pay it forward. Through journaling, I uncovered much about myself, my desires, fears, strengths, and weaknesses. It became a form of therapy, a way to untangle the complex web of thoughts and emotions we all carry. My journal provided a safe space to express my feelings without fear of judgment, allowing me to be completely honest with myself. I also found that journaling helped me to become more mindful. I began to pay closer attention to my thoughts and feelings throughout the day, knowing I would have the opportunity to reflect on them later. This mindfulness translated into a greater awareness of my emotional triggers and patterns, empowering me to respond rather than react in challenging situations. If you've never tried journaling, I highly recommend giving it a shot. Don't stress about perfect writing or profound thoughts, just write whatever comes to mind. It could be a stream of consciousness, a recap of your day, or reflections on a specific event. Allow yourself the freedom to express your feelings, and you might be surprised at the clarity and peace it brings. Consider starting with a prompt if you're unsure where to begin. Questions like, what made me smile today, or what was challenging today, and how did I handle it, can spark deeper reflection. Over time, you may find that journaling becomes not only a tool for self-discovery but also a cherished ritual, a moment each day dedicated to you and your thoughts. In the end, journaling transformed my life in ways I never expected. It opened a door to self-exploration and personal growth that continues to enrich my journey. So, grab a notebook or open a blank document, and start your own journey with journaling. You never know what insights await you. Habit 4, Mindful Eating. Next on the list is mindful eating. This habit was significant for me because, like many, I used to eat on the go, barely paying attention to what or how much I consumed. My meals were often rushed, eaten while scrolling through my phone or working on my laptop. I didn't realize how this affected my well-being until I committed to mindful eating for a week. Mindful eating is all about paying full attention to the experience of eating, both inside and outside the body. It's about savoring each bite, noticing the flavors, textures, and even the sounds of your food. I made a commitment to eat all my meals mindfully, starting by setting the scene. I cleared my dining table, set a nice place for myself, and removed distractions: no phone, no TV, no laptop. It felt strange at first to sit quietly with my meal, but it quickly became a calming ritual. I began each meal with a few deep breaths to center myself and focus on the present. One of the first things I noticed was how much more I enjoyed my food. I took the time to chew thoroughly and appreciate the different flavors. Instead of mindlessly munching, I felt satisfied after meals. I realized how often I rushed through eating without really tasting my food. It was a revelation. This practice also helped me tune into my body's signals. I became more aware of when I was truly hungry and when I was full. Rather than eating until I was stuffed, I learned to listen to my body's cues. This shift improved my digestion and overall relationship with food. Another benefit was recognizing my emotional connection to eating. Instead of reaching for snacks when stressed or bored, I learned to identify those emotions and address them in healthier ways. Mindful eating brought a greater sense of balance to my diet. I started making more conscious choices about what I consumed, focusing on nourishing my body rather than just filling it up. If you're interested in trying mindful eating, start with one meal a day. Create a peaceful environment, sit down without distractions, and take your time to enjoy each bite. You might find it's a rewarding experience that transforms how you view food. Habit 5, Limiting Screen Time. The last habit I want to discuss is limiting screen time. In today's digital age, it's all too easy to get lost in endless scrolling and binge-watching. I realized that all that screen time was negatively affecting my mental health and productivity. So, I made a conscious decision to set boundaries. I started with a daily limit on non-work-related screen time, and it was surprisingly freeing. Instead of mindlessly scrolling through social media or getting sucked into another episode of a show, I used that time to reconnect with hobbies and interests I had neglected. I picked up a book I had been meaning to read, rediscovered my love for painting, and even spent more time outdoors. Another positive effect was on my sleep quality. Instead of scrolling on my phone right before bed, I established a bedtime routine that excluded screens. I started reading before sleeping, and this led to deeper, more restful nights. The benefits were incredible. I woke up feeling refreshed and ready to tackle the day. By limiting screen time, I felt less anxious and more